The boarding action on the UNSC freighter Iron Lung was supposed to be a textbook operation. The Valari shock troopers are the galaxy's finest precision killers. They move like liquid mercury. They don't make noise. They don't make mistakes. In 300 years of conquest, the Valari Empire has never failed to secure a vessel in under 20 minutes. Commander Zalcor breached the airlock with a plasma cutter. His squad flowed into the human ship, weapons raised, sensors sweeping. The plan was simple: secure the bridge, vent the atmosphere, collect the cargo. They found the human crew in the cargo bay, 6 of them, unarmed, wearing greasy maintenance jumpsuits. It wasn't a fight. It was an execution. The Valari opened fire with neural disruptors. The humans fell. Zalcor holstered his weapon. He tapped his comms. Command, target secured. No resistance. Proceeding to... He stopped. His audio sensors picked up a sound. A rhythmic, wet thumping noise. It was coming from the floor. From the pile of bodies. Thump, thump, thump. Zalcor looked down. The human nearest to him, a large male with a jagged shrapnel wound in his shoulder, was shaking. Not the shaking of death spasms, the shaking of an engine revving up. The human looked up. His pupils had dilated so wide his eyes were black pools. His skin, previously pale, flushed a violent, angry red. He bared his teeth. "You shouldn't have done that," the human whispered. But it didn't sound like a voice. It sounded like a growl from a predator's throat. And then the dead man stood up. To understand why the Valari were about to die, you have to understand galactic biology. 99% of intelligent species in the galaxy evolved in stable, harmonious ecosystems. Their biology is based on efficiency and homeostasis. If a Valari warrior is injured, his body immediately shuts down non-essential systems to preserve the brain. He goes into a coma to await medical repair. It is a logical, safe, evolutionary trait. Pain is a signal to stop. Shock is a safety mechanism. But Earth is not a harmonious ecosystem. Earth is a biological mosh pit. Humans did not evolve to shut down when injured. We evolved to ignore the injury and kill the thing that hurt us. We are the only species in the known universe that possesses an endocrine system capable of the dump. The Valari scanners began screaming warnings. High levels of toxicity detected. Inside the human's body, a chemical dam had just broken. The hypothalamus sent a signal to the adrenal glands. Instantly, a cocktail of epinephrine, cortisol, and norepinephrine flooded his bloodstream. To a Valari medical officer, this is suicide. The human's heart rate spiked from 60 beats per minute to 180 in 3 seconds. His blood pressure skyrocketed. His liver dumped massive amounts of glucose into his blood for instant energy. The capillaries in his skin constricted to minimize bleeding, forcing blood into his muscles. Essentially, the human just injected himself with a Class A illegal combat stimulant. Naturally. Zalcor stepped back, his 4 eyes widening. "Target is unstable," he stammered. "He is ignoring neural disruption." The human, a mechanic named Davis, didn't have a weapon. He grabbed a heavy spanner from the floor. The metal groaned under his grip. The shrapnel in his shoulder was still there, tearing muscle every time he moved. Davis didn't feel it. The adrenaline had completely blocked the pain receptors in his brain. He launched himself at the Valari commander. Valari warriors are trained in a martial art that emphasizes flow and grace. Davis didn't use martial arts. He used physics and rage. He collided with Zalcor with the force of a battering ram. The alien's armor, designed to deflect plasma, cracked under the blunt impact of the heavy wrench. "Open fire!" Zalcor screamed, scrambling backward. The other Valari troopers fired. Blue bolts of energy struck Davis in the chest. He staggered. Smoke rose from his jumpsuit, but he didn't fall. "Why won't he die?" a trooper shrieked. "I hit his vital organs." They did hit his vital organs, but the human brain, bathed in combat chemicals, simply decided that dying was a problem for later. Right now, the only priority was violence. This is the horror of fighting humans. You don't fight a soldier. You fight a biological crisis. Davis swung the wrench again. It connected with a trooper's helmet. The helmet shattered. The trooper went limp. Davis grabbed the alien's weapon, not to shoot it, but to use it as a club. He was moving faster than humanly possible. His muscles were tearing themselves apart from the exertion, but the chemicals kept forcing them to contract. The other 5 humans on the floor began to stir. The contagion was spreading. They heard the fight. They smelled the ozone and the blood. Their own ancient lizard brain biology recognized the threat. One by one, their adrenal glands opened the floodgates. A female engineer, shot in the leg, stood up. She grabbed a cargo strap. Her eyes were wide, unblinking, terrifying. She didn't limp. She ran. Zalcor realized he had made a tactical error. He assumed he was fighting a civilized species. He didn't know he had boarded a ship full of dormant berserkers. "Retreat!" Zalcor ordered. "Fall back to the airlock. Seal the—" He never finished the sentence. Davis tackled him again. This time, there was no weapon. Davis used his hands. He ripped the bio-tubing from Zalcor's suit. The alien atmosphere vented. The remaining Valari troopers panicked. They had never seen an enemy ignore lethal wounds. They had never seen an organism that got stronger the more you hurt it. They broke formation. It was a massacre, not of the crew, but of the elite soldiers. The humans fought with a savagery that violated every convention of galactic warfare. They bit. They gouged. They used their own broken bones as leverage. They fought until their hearts gave out. And then they fought for 12 seconds longer because the oxygen in their blood hadn't run out yet. When the silence finally returned to the cargo bay, Zalcor was the only alien left alive, pinned under the heavy boot of the mechanic. Davis was breathing heavily. A rasping, wet sound. The adrenaline crash was coming. His hands shook violently. The color was draining from his face as the chemicals faded and the reality of his wounds set in. He looked down at the alien commander. "You aliens," Davis wheezed, blood dripping from his lip. "You're all so soft." Then Davis collapsed. His heart finally stopped. The Galactic Council later classified the incident as a biological anomaly. They studied the autopsy reports of the human crew. They found that during the fight, the humans had enough toxic stimulants in their blood to kill a Valari war beast. They called it the berserker syndrome. They banned humans from serving on multi-species vessels unless they wore inhibitor collars to dampen their adrenal glands. They treated us like unexploded bombs. But the Valari Empire learned a different lesson. They stopped raiding human ships. They stopped entering human space. Because they realized the truth. Every other species in the galaxy strives for peace, for balance, for stability. Their bodies are temples. But a human body isn't a temple. It's a weapon storage facility. We walk around with the safety on. We smile. We trade. We explore. But deep down, In the dark chemistry of our blood, we are always waiting for the excuse to let the monster out. So if you see a human, do not hurt them. Do not startle them. And for the love of the void, do not make them bleed. Because you might kill the person, but you will release the thing that lives inside them, and that thing does not know how to stop.